Page 9. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, know the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, know the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, know the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, O supreme in this world, to you who were wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 realms, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like spotless moon, color like gold, prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one in the lower realms, the one path to sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all worthy of respect. To all worthy of respect, bound with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, and all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 23, Heart Sutra. Homage to the exalted 3 jewels. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the 5 aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whatever son or daughter the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the 5 aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, positional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth, up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth, up to no aging and death, and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom. And because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra, the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teyata gate gate pada samgati bodhi soha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from their concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara of the Bodhisattva, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One has said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the Holy Supreme Abode, the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the three places, Dakinis, Akatamasa Sharanaya, Akatamasa Sharasamaka, Akatamasa Sharanaya, Akatamasa Sharanaya, Akatamasa Sharanaya, Akatamasa Sharasamaya, Peteata, Om Gate Gate Paragat, Parasamgati, Bodhisoha. Through the power of the truth of the exalted three-jewel speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four Maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent, and may they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, Shante Kriya Soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse, harmful conditions. May all bring some perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Sogi chonam la jungju badu dani kyabsuchi dage chunin gi personam ki drola panchi sange drupa sho chodan sogi chonam la jungju badu dani kyabsuchi dage chunin gi personam ki drola panchi sange drupa sho.
Tenzin Taiwan 다게 개공 마찬 니네 리와 셴베도 니네 뭐야 셴베도 어디가 근데 Taiwan 얘기네 세가 아니 치르구나 아니 무슨 말하지 야다 차비 아니 다저 그때 무슨 좋아지 봐 이와래 단년이 아니 된다와데 가서래 이게가 된참 뭐 된들이 이제 가서래 이와때 된다게 봐지 마셔나 아니 개와 주마다 이밥 뽕하다 개와 주마다 서와기 아니 때 개와제 이와제라 된다게 봐지 마셔나 아니 된다와데 가서래 소소소소소소 걔네 이와지 와 말했어 걔네 뽕와지 와 말했어 와 어디 된대 어딘지 타원 얘기는 나를 고고 마잖아. 니를 리와야 셴메도 니를 뭐봐야 셴메도 셴 소와나 시체니. 나 대체버데 다를 내지 토바지 취소해서 마송와 아니 전화대 바지 쉬고해. 전화대 바 가리래서나 아니 다 디바 뽕하다 겨와 주바. 그마 아니 디바 지양 미샤신. 겨와 피숨 소와 제세가 류마기 아니 가서 미겨봤다 파 빠야다. 토마데라 류마기 미겨봤다 파. 뒤jesu 아니 류마기 미겨봐 대다 끊을 뭐지 아니 얘기 미겨봤다 파. 어떤데 제가 아니 좀 미겨봐 빵바이다 아니 대공에 송구 동아도 아니 대대사를 봐 이제 아니 최주자와 삼장 밑에도 아니 도착 안 하는 바야 한다 봐도 상계 컴바 엄마 터바제비 아니 남 티바집에 남제를 받더라냐 봐 신도 냠송해야지 다 대대지게 아니 봐 가서래 배양서 랑을 몇 권에 아니 다 최년 거가 돼 아니 이제는 냠송해 봐래 시원한 년 거가 이제 대대지게 상모 대대지게 몇 권에 아니 다 최년 거가 되지 말이야
So just like the great master Shantideva is guide to the Buddhist way of life, that and having found such kind of perfect rebirth, if we don't use it to cultivate virtues and meditate, cultivate and meditate on virtues, then there is now we have achieved this perfect rebirth. So if we don't spend our time of having obtained this perfect rebirth, which has all the attributes and all the favorable conditions to practice, and one is free from the 8 non-freedoms, and which is extremely difficult to achieve. And if one have achieved, can accomplish great purpose from this. And so if we don't spend it in a meaningful way. So how do we spend it in a meaningful way? Is by cultivating virtue and by abandoning the non-virtuous actions. So if we don't do that, then there's no greater foolish, no greater deceptive than to oneself. And so in order to make this perfect rebirth meaningful, one has to engage in the abandoning of the non-virtuous actions. So just like it is said, do not commit any non-virtuous action and create a perfect virtuous action, just like that. So first start with practicing through the body and the speech, and then eventually with the mind. So with that one can abandon all the 10 non-virtuous actions. And so if we abandon the 10 non-virtuous actions, then which are the cause? So if we don't have the cause, the 10 non-virtuous actions, then we will not have the result, the 3 lower realms. And so once we're free from there, and then one can achieve the highest state of rebirth. So if one is free from the 3 lower realms, then one will be able to achieve a highest state of rebirth as a profitable rebirth. With the profitable rebirth, then enter into the Mahayana path, and then eventually, gradually engage in the practice of the Mahayana path, and then through that, achieve state of full enlightenment. And so, in order to do that practice, one has to study, and to study. Then you think I'm going to listen, to these teachings. So one should have this motivation, thinking that I'm going to listen to these teachings, so that I can, study and practice, the Mahayana path, to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Oh yeah. That is that is Kasore saying that you remember Chabala Shoko in Zang, that and Kasan Shua Kitami, and then you Shua the Yard Shinsani. That you know the Chimbata Jukujila Dabati, only that Chimbagila Tarazu Lavas. And yet, there are 10 up to Shuma yet of Kusha. So the Taba Tuja mounted to them the Abla Segala. I never have to Shuma in a Rarangi, Rara, Kelambagi, I knew Pamara Jungu Sudunda. I knew Soso Taba, I knew Castle Jetsun Kutaba. That Chimba Doji, Anita, Gay Toba, Baja Baba. Ani Baja, Tela, Anita Susan be Keneta. Ani Nagarjuna, Nagarjuna, Londo Kenny said, the Baja Bawake. Oh, Telita, Laja to Shako and Bari. Mera, the Tenera do Shua, Yellow Kuchel, Sosa Taba, Dujeta, Monday Tenda, Abla Tricks, ya.
And so, so the actual text that we're going to be studying, is the Nagarjuna's Precious Garland, and so we have already completed up to the 4th chapter. So now we start from the 5th chapter, and the 5th chapter, is in verse 401. If you have the text, just like it says here, thereupon as monastic, and you should first become serious about your training, focusing on the Patimoksha along with the Vinaya, and also on becoming learned and determining the meaning of what to study, what you study. And so there are so many the vows. It is the training of the ordained vows and the lay vows. So if one is ordained, one has the ordination vows, right? So like with novice vows, the full ordination vows, and all these are the individual liberation vows. So one has to keep all those vows purely, train and then keep them purely, And if one is a lay practitioner, there are also vows, that one can train in, and they're like the 5 lay vows. If we can be taking just one kind, or if you're taking more than 3, then it's most kind, or the complete lay vows. So whatever one is, one has taken the vows, and one should train in those vows.
Oh yeah, 天天人我前些日，那位特别心那帮我上。我就在这帮着，白天我多把钱是的，你我前几那么10万钱呢，俺你帮我这位洗，俺你当我没给我说话，俺你帮我不的事情，那天了看这的是呢，俺你没给我这帮我7万了，俺你俺了归拢的，俺你归年拢些给出完了说话，他就马多呢，俺你这我没给我没多把人张，那天呢我出完了说话给。초와 sem지 추바데 세 초와 생각이 아니 콩도 초와 생각이 아니 초위 콩 초와 아니 균탐도 좀 받으라 근데 초와 sem지 추바데 대다 제제 큰도지 차바디바 차바데 디바 차바데 상와 7번闲了7번地来先把我是闲了7度吧什么要把这个地吧我先把我有的许多路啊，这是有时候的看的是呢，先许多路啊个路啊当，有的俺的什么车主啊，有的什么车主啊，差多先去原点东，差多个先去原点了，俺的让了什么东吧，现在呢，俺的车当，俺的我车当，俺的落下来说话，现在没到啊，谈不正吧，我这俺的差多呢，俺的。差别往给你说了，没事别动啊！我等于让有人就当有人许多老外的，有人什么车就去，差到现在年度，现在到来700年呀。
And so in order to engage in the practice of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions, that's created through one's body, speech, and mind, so one has to first overcome those motivational mind, such as anger, attachment, jealousy, and so forth. So just like it is mentioned in the verse 402, then you should eliminate those faults that cited in the Kushuddha Vastuka, and assiduously learn to recognize them, widely known to be in 57 in number and so forth. So here talking about the wrath, and so one of the motivational mind or the delusional mind, is the wrath is referring to the anger. And since the wrath is severe mental agitation, rancor comes from constantly having it, and then talks about the miserliness and attachment and the jealousy. So it says jealousy is irritation and on others' good qualities. Miserliness is fear of giving and so forth.
Oh yeah. 我这没当吃没当，让他先了，没事把我谁干了？我这没把他吃没把生了，让今天的是年完了没事把他，我这没把他，现在今天的现在了年完了没事把他吃没把死个的，俺你让我年完了没事，让他先了没事把我死，根本就把没事把死个干了，根本的那么说了对吧没事把，你这么吃完来把我死，年完吃完俺你老把我提钱。 假把吃把旁边把各万那了没就把我假把lon进去吃别人个什么都把什么用，我旁边把吃把了说个各万了，俺你没说进啊，俺你你忙了什么送啊？假把吃把看见把各万那了没就把我是呀。
And then in a verse 409, it talks about non-integrity is not to be ashamed of yourself in consideration of others, not being embarrassed with regards to others. So not feeling embarrassed to engage in non-virtuous actions. So out of because of one's one reason, because of oneself, or not feeling embarrassed to engage in the non-virtuous action because of others, because of others. And then it says the haughtiness is the incapacity of honoring others. So that's talking about kind of a pride, and the fury is the mental disturbance caused by anger.
Oh yeah. 这个马都淘宝看见我们俺家这继续的时候，这个马都把它淘宝年把这我们俺家，啊，你来些了对吧？你看了老板俺家说，你别来钱完了，俺钱说你不对吧？说对吧？这老板俺家，大概没把你做些，当然没把看见，这没俺家写下去，这到都是写把人是干，但俺家对人的说的都， that's a girl may say, Danny, member kind, so on the member, when I remember me do Yambaki. I just remember I just saw. Or the member I just said that the dish by incident, and $1, and bang I just do some word that didn't buy it.
And then, so talking about the pride in detail, there's in the verse 4:6, is being arrogant is being conceit, to be heedless in not apply oneself to virtue. Pride is of 7 kinds. I will now explain each of them. So there's this different kind of pride, and so. Even if one doesn't have any of these qualities, but one claims that one has qualities such as the realization of the stream winners and so forth, and that is kind of the factual or the pride. And then like the low pride is also like there's no one lower than me, thinking like that. It's also the kind of pride. So there's all talking about different kind of prides here.
Oh yeah, that you can lose on our young one. So to Kasa. 小龙一般人话说话些的，最近呢，当各地去安不当把吃吧，也把他各地吃都，安那两个安不当把吃吧，推入生活。看上人也把他各地吃都，安那闲了吃讲不没有嘛哇。小龙天呢，特别是现在在了俺吃吧，我说，然后再特别刚才，安那现在在了俺把吃吧，特别是话你别吃，我说现在没吃吧，我谁干了？安那你把我什么都是。 看说三那吃话说，闲了没把吃吧的，你他你别吃都三那，我什么都三那吃话说了没把吃吧的，你把这把怕你把春秋就不能出，你把吃不就完对吧对了，你把电脑那俺都把那俺吃吧是咱得钱老上好的。
And then after that comes the 5 wrong livelihoods. And so earlier that talking about the inferior pride. So like deriding oneself, thinking I cannot manage, is the pride of inferiority. And then after that, there's the wrong livelihoods. Starts in verse 4:13. It says hypocrisy is to restrain the senses for the sake of acquisition and respect. Then the flattery is to utter primarily pleasant praises for the sake of acquisition and respect. And then it says hinting, praising others in possession so that one might obtain them. And then there's a desire to acquire things through what has been acquired. Is to praise what has already been acquired. So the carping is constantly remarking on the mistakes that one has made. Others has made.
Yila Misha Kayan, they send a tower member share, say Kachata Moso, Kayan, Yila Misha by give me a Kayan Misha by the Yawan, or any tailor, similar tower member Shaba. Too much of one on the Lulu good in Yabachu. Lama jumped them to me, and a Jew number in by day, she jumped in the food and then Bachawa Maidi, and it jumped in the Jan Java. Shamba couldn't do what you debuted Jala Chuma was. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Down where my don't sit the ledge will be good at you by cherry. Chaparanga and the Chabit and then Chabi. And he said the Zella Shamba named Miri Chapa Sesao. A bunch of Pimecha de Chama in the Jasso. The day and then machine and then never switch about. The Jishin to come by the Chosha by the devil. Told the Danichin and then Yanda dance it. Missy never Chaba that Tomata Missy Bow. Oh, yeah. To me, Lube Lama Yi Chavana Makuba was to me about Lube that let me Chavala Makuba. Yes, I am. Oh, yeah. Oh, that one, Maya. Galo Deva, my in by a treaty to them Makuba. 니도 tantre namdo ni nidu lacham chabawo. Tishi yusi tetu teyi yende jebawo. Tishi mishi toba ya chi jiban mi tobawo. Jeje, da dini, jeno ridan tendo ni tani chene shenda ku yenden tobe nambabi, lama cheba junyambawo. Da je, da dini shenla jesu chabadela. Shenji chadan tenbayi, namdo kanyi shendala, shenla jesu chabada tenbe, namdo yinbani, da gyudan, pimela sowa chaba. Di jela, ten napsimde, ta napsim, migo juyina ke napsimde. Nisim ribayi, penam mibim senpa wo, shishiwa, nisim ribayi, penam, nisim ribani, ti pendam, mibim senpa wo. Miga tempa maybe she miga tempa miga we tempa maybe yito miga tempa debe nyobi yi no se debe nyobi deba ki sem nyoba ki nyoba tempa maybe lu tenji le lo yin o da le lo la ina ji lo bi le lo chawa me shen ji lo yo ina ji lo bi le lo yin no yo ni mo wang ge ji le da kan ni jo o semi deba sajabe limi dewa yimba she semi shindu mawa yi sibshu yimba ni du den de yende ngada la deba tendu nyewa yi debi yende sutra chilo sowe yende ngada deba tang te tendu nyewa nisum dadan chodan chi chola tesum teme ba toba shenla nebe se yugula ni chungwa yin se gara nisum ni dadadang rangi chobo dang rangi drai chola ani tisumdu kasur dada dagi wala neba chesu cheba gyuro se gara shiku pen daso pen daba gyuro o digi yugo oti sungwa yesonga
No.
yeah.
And so this is in in the verse 431. This is a harmful intent comes from 9 causes. It is the intent to harm others on the part of one who is concerned about some misfortune in the 3 times with regards to oneself, one's friend, or one's enemy. And so thinking that in the 3 times, like somebody harmed me or is harming me or will harm me and so forth like that.
Oh yeah, that didn't mukba said, some mukba. Oh, cause more than Pamela, whatever that Mukdam girl said, some mukba singing. You some Gigi letter for Canadian Iba Sega, and the leader some Gigi letter and the Chebala, Midaba Kayan by day, and he mukba some mukba de check. Then it or you sing at the Caddy says. Jushi chubo de yula chuba la rawa meba ani sem nando de ba chenga de la ni che goba ni lisu rado ma shi ba wo se li sem rado ma sa ba de ja ge cha chu ba ani se ja ja ba li sem je de rado ma shi ba se ka la o da de ja ge cha chu ba je ba ngan ba le che ngan ba che ba le je ba je ba ngan ba che la ji chi dong wa le chung wa wo de je ba de che 다 드는 대제라 태솜되라 된다 꾸조 숨소라 너는 니니 태솜하고 타니스 도바기 태솜 어디기 다 지방아 어디 마된 거 알아 태솜하고 아니 다 되어야 되라 대다 자주 선배 빵 공도 셔바기 아니 니와 대다 탐제 자주 선배 빵데 아니 자세 침바다 오늘 가서래 옆에 중앙 이가 그 빵빵 자신 가서래 domze namji ya thapa pangwa chawan thi na ne rado chuwa no ji ja thapa to pang ko re se ga ta de yin je ge pang ja de ba chim ba re
and then in verse 433 and 434 434 explains about all the abandonments to be abandoned by the ordained person and the lay vow holders and ordained vow holders. And so these are the ones that's abandoned by the bodhisattvas. So bodhisattvas were ordained and lay, so especially by the ordained ones. And so talking about it says remorse is to lament one's negative activities. It arises from agonizing about them later. And so, to have remorse is something that one feels bad about doing something bad, and later. So doubt is to be of the two kinds, two minds about the four truths, the three jewels, and so on. And then it says, the Bodhisattva should forsake these. So one with the monastic precept must forsake even more since when one is freed of these faults, one can easily develop positive qualities.
Oh yeah, that didn't my union there, any union more than that didn't charge to be such, she Shabbat the young said it. There is a never tell them Tandana, and then de la Ta, Sajusemberg, Condeshaven, never tell Tandana, and then de la Tumble, and the number 2 grades, in the never punch and then grades. Without a union, and then the career tell a Sajusemberg, and then Potential. And that kind of Jinda Sujum surgery, sometimes share of injured Jimbata, Sujum, the Sabata, Sundu, sometimes the Sherata, or Nigella Sova, or Tedata, or Tembari, or Tedades, or Tedata, that's also more Martin.
And so, if one is free from all those faults, the negativities or the faults, then one will, possess the excellent qualities. So here, talking about the excellent qualities. What are the excellent qualities? The excellent qualities are the perfection of generosity, morality, patience, effort, and concentration, wisdom, compassion, and so forth.
Oh, that 가서 담보 집바 셔봐라 집바라노 용도와 추주 셈변 차와 오세 집바게 랑그 류단 랑제단 놀라서와 동와 추주 셈변 차와 오세가 추주제 랑이 바시기 랑 바시기 전도냐마 팀에 이제 그 삼바봉아 추주 셈변 팀에 이제 삼바바이 추주 셈변 차와고 서바 초와 봉와데 서바도 컨트롤 봉와 아니 그 초와 봉와데 추주니 아니 최랑의 수지 서바 대디 서바데 체처랑 무슨 서바 준준이 라샤지 교와라 쪼와데 준주체 이거나 준주체 3년 되지 요모메 3년이 있으면 되지 봐 아니 뭐나 차와 시련이 된된달라 대시 된달라 패봐 인제 섬제 탐제라 인제 로지 로지소 섬제 탐제라 동아단 차주 그 섬념바 로지바데 로지소
And then in verse 436, it says, generosity is to give up one's wealth. The ethical conduct is to endeavor to help others. And in order to help others, one should have this ethical conduct. And the fortitude is to abandonment of anger. And the joyous effort is enthusiasm for virtue. And meditative stability is unafflictive one-pointedness. Wisdom is definitively determining the truth's meaning. Compassion is a state of mind that severs only loving kindness for all sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that Jesus trouble te jabara debu kare yongore sena ani jimbata wala tena launch jimbe launch sudu sumala tena dendro sabab gombala tena ani lu danda demba 아니 진짜 잡아놨다네 아니 가와 피수 상와 3대 공부하다네 아니 친구기 인화시와 3대 기시 로이초 3대 기시 친구기 인화시와 시럽기 가르러 와서나 아니 영 받아 세지 드바탐제가 초와 쳐봐 이제 네 라샹지 된 주바 이제 완이 정근주 뭐 대다 말로 빠지자 바로 좀 이 삼지 매제고 지된 거 보니도 주로 근데 님보다 말이 봐 아니 제가 로람지 내가서 콤바 쳐봐라 때네 타를 아니 파루를 심비 삼지 매제고 양다버서 산자 터봐 주부리
And then, so what are the results of meditating on these the qualities? Is that as the result of meditating on practicing generosity, one will have wealth. As a result of practicing the morality, one will have higher rebirth, a happy realm. As a result of practicing patience, one will have beautiful forms. As the joyous effort, one will have happiness or joy, and then as a result of meditating on concentration, one will be free from the mental wandering and sinking or mental wandering and thinking. And then as a result of meditating on wisdom, one will be free from the all the delusions, like all the obscurations, deluded obscurations, and obscuration to knowledge. And by meditating on compassion, one will be able to accomplish all the wishes of oneself and others. So this is all in verse 436, 437, and so forth. So then there's 438 also.
Oh yeah, that is such a Shabbatara, and it's such that's Jesus about the career, and it, and then to me, she then Shabbat. The cup did I just be sa Sergana, and Maribada Ti Paja Karum, Malia Baga. And Samotomba Yomosun to be Shechila Sas and Chocolate, Maribara, and he says about by Vijay and Marino, and or thing, tender Besatella, and it's a Chusha, Rakaso Chu, Satamborato Kawalaso Chusha. Oh, that's Satamborato Kawanu at one, but that's much more. Oh, Denny, and Chanjusi Besatella, Sachu Yobanashi, and do Besatella, and then you besat Jayobadi. Oh, did it, huh? Or then they do such a putting at too soon to such you are in, and you Batella, and you sign it, Jashaba. The Shishaba Tiba Chambola, such, and it's Chanjusi besat Jazz or say, Tatella. And you be to such a chat said that Luigi Javesato is a subject to Chavato and you said and you said Ransan, yes, you are it. And it had that chat. Then it does Chanjusa beside Della, and it's at you, Tamosa Tambora Gawa. Or Teta Tambora Gawa, Chanjusa Bagaji, you could do some bandes or Toma Kundos Tambi, and it is used to give away a Tambo de la Satambo chat. Yeah.
So earlier, we're talking about those results of those qualities. And in the verse 439, it says, through the simultaneous perfection of all seven, one attains the sphere of inconceivable wisdom, lordship over the world. And so eventually one will become fully enlightened through that. And then then later it talks about the qualities of the hearers in verse 140. It says, just as the 8 grounds of the hearers are discussed in the hero vehicle, so too the 10 grounds of the bodhisattva are taught in the universal vehicle. And so when we talk about the ground here is referring to the ground from where all the great qualities comes from. So just like from the ground, get all the crops, and just like that, get all the realizations and the excellent qualities comes from the ground. So that's the ground that's referring to here. And also it is the ground or the state of mind, which is not solid by ignorance and the imprints of the ignorance. So that's referring to this the ground. So it's also in verse. So just like there's 8 grounds in the hearer's path, there are also 10 grounds in the bodhisattva path. So the first one is discussed in the verse 141. It says, first of these is called the joyous, because the bodhisattvas experience great joy, since the 3 fetters have been eliminated and they have been born into the Tathagata family.
Oh yeah, that's how Tambo Della, and you can't say, they never managed to power change the Jidan coming here, Satambo, Tambo, and then good Chajuk, Java down, and it's keep too much in bed, I'm not sure. And it tells some sort of children in Egapella, saw them down. Then it only let me come to talk about Tezana, and you or Major Chadin to Jalam Chat. Then it over with Toma, you must to talk about Tezana, and you Tonam Toba, or Satambo Toba, and it be part of the Chimney, and it's Chelaba Toba, and it here got that then you come to your sins. And it's a new on the chamber Jua. Number 10 about to be part of Children, then come to Jazzy, the new on the chamber Jurus. Then Satambo Saniwa Chimame Batoba. Saniwa Chimame, or Sujaji Embayam. And you are Chima Mesha. You don't know just send me that you just Chimame be curious and you might use me. And it Sudmucha Chima Magoba. And Angela Gillian Chilies. Was I knew in about Batica and to reach about Sani was about to reach part of the Shibatuba. But that is it, did you not? Dravan quality one, draw a pampa, quality, Pampichito, and quality Java Shaba. You were Sani was any castle. Chimameba. That's Sumba Yajabane, Sasumbani Yaja. Sasumbani Yajaba, is she Yaju Chini, say, oh, now I found it at Harvard Jerusalem one day. Is she something was she gave a tongue. Only the Sashadan also says, Sirikana. Oh, that day. And it is she was by yourself. The Sashadan won't do what you're talking about. Number me money, so that you did have a jet, you want your cavaji, the bit is at all by him. She was your shower chance. Oh, only she was your such you were your chance. She was your trouble. Our Janga was. Only too soon, she was your chance and Yanda be shaky, you will say, some of money to be Yanda be shaky. And it didn't ever so charges. 장조소진 차라라 케와 토바인장 장조소진 말레바 케바토니 곰비체르 어디 나바면 봐라 아니 가서래 디 나바면 봐나 랍다 가서 차네 하자소 탑타모라 차와다 아니 지조다와 람쇼마 세리가라 랑도다와 단지 이수제 아니 랑게 가서를 양동 와가지고 지금 직접 따와 봐와 그래 좀 이제 개와야
And so in the continuum of the bodhisattvas, the moment they generate the conventional bodhicitta, that's called the path of accumulation, and there one accumulates a great amount of merit, so it's called the path of accumulation. And then in the second path is the path of preparation. During that time, one generates the wisdom realizing emptiness through meditation. And so at that time, one realizes the emptiness in the manner, meaning, duality. And then in the third path is called the path of seeing, when you actually or directly see the emptiness. And at that time, and then you become superior beings, and that's the moment you achieve that path of seeing, you achieve the first path, the first ground. The first ground is so that's called the joyous ground, and so in the experiences through the maturation of that ground, the profession of generosity becomes supreme, and they are able to make hundreds worlds quake, and they become the great lord of Zambudeva and so forth. So, and then during the second, it says the second ground is called the stainless, because Bodhisattva tenfold activities of the body, speech, and mind are stainless. And then it talks about also the maturation, the result of achieving that, with all these qualities in verse 444. And then 445 and talks about the third ground. It's called the luminous, because the light of peaceful wisdom arises, the concentrations and super knowledge have arisen, and attachment and anger have completely ceased. And then in the fourth ground, it's called the radiant, because the radiance of true wisdom arises. The Bodhisattva distinctly develop all the airs of awakening, and then talks about also the verse in 444, the maturation of that ground. One becomes celestial ruler in the world, and so forth. And then for 49, talks about the fifth, the ground, which is called the indomitable. Since one cannot be subdued by any demons, and one gains an expertise in knowing the subtle meanings of the Arya truth and such, and so forth. So that's our verse 50, talking about the maturation of that path.
Oh yeah, 아니 셰라 켜와 주체 단위 체제 되는 거지 장계산라 판반네 봐 삼단라시 로산 대라시 심이도라 심도 켜와 또 엄마 주바서만 나지 전에 가래에서는 지간지 컵단을 해비 뒤 참제지다 판반 처음이니 봐다 아니 대시 차라라 켜와 터봐 밥에 대시는 켜와 터봐 인장 아니 대라 가서라 샷 아니 사신의 장가와 디나미 번아 간대진에서 사이자고 주고서 무디쳐봐 탐제지 녀몬 따낼 녀몬 배따위네 탐제봐 또 맞춰봐 다지만 오늘 쳐봐 오늘 쳐봐 녀사 셈나지 서나래 사주봐 아니 저기 상제치는 오늘 쳐봐 인장 주방 원조 세대지 상제치라 원조시 신앙 상동 공부이 고바 토바 제비 세를 지가나 사주봐 토비 강라 아니 가서를 지내다 상동라 켜와 공부이 아니 사주병 오가지 방자 방배 고비년지 토바 인장 땡제리 준다는 켜와 사탕 네가서 사주병이가 땡제리 준다는 누라 켜와 토바 상하이 가서 대시 차나라 켜와 토바 도이스 말에 예당 신앙상동 공부이 고바 토바 제비 세르스나 아니 권용 토바 어디 남하면 말라 개위 라우자지 년대 남지장 미줘봐 사병 아자 시장 아자기는 사병 아자 시장 나 니네사 dim바르도 상와니 어다 사 주발에 아니 사 당보네 른도 상대 사 dim베네 가서 아니 냐라남 로도지 시기나 바이자 dim바르도 상와네 차니 른도 상대지 가지까지 되니라 아니 고바 양도 베더라 냠바 중단 체니 봐 자서 여기까지 뭐 통과지라 고바양다 베더라 엄바 주바 네바 인자 가지까지 되냐라 되냐 고바 양주바 그 남함이 봐라 아니 왕주 사이 다버추루 파비 대방원도 파비 대응에 또 시비 아니 로베 추저 전부 두루 세르가나 파비 대방 엄바도 바기다 디그냥 가서 갈수 오래 니라도도 지시지 나봐 어디 지송이 버려 야
And then it's through verse the fifth one is in the 449 in Domitable. So one is then expertise in knowing the subtle meaning of the Arya's truth, and then in verse 451 is the sixth one is called approaching. Because they approach the qualities of the Buddha and are enhanced by the attainment of cessation through uniting insight and serenity. And then in the and the verse 453, the seventh is called the far advanced. And because the number of excellent qualities has advanced far since this ground, they enter moment by moment into the equipoise of cessation.
Oh yeah, that is a jaba. Sajaba to Gamba Dinda, Tishi Jaba Shini is a Mio at the middle chill. Mio Tishi Lidan, Asanji, you send me job, Sajaba de la Mio was. And your castle is an Dinzi Saber Pamba. Demba middle betchina, and it's him sending the Tenzin Miowa in Zang. Tishi Jaba Shuni, Miowa, the middle children. Oh, Ani Lunga, I bear some Jew, some Jimmy Java, the Demba in Zang. Ani, you don't ask him to, like I said, you don't ask him to use some chaps. Tea number me, but I don't some you don't get up with some but you. And it's 가서래 사제바 tombalana nyumu betriban 파자다 nyumu betriba 삼제 방바 인자 아니 다좀 랑제 소지제 되는데라 파파 되는 베벨라 쳐바메세 쳐바메세 다디 사제바 미요와체 당구바 레벨로제레 아니 소소야다 바르바시 토바 인자 사고라니 레바이 로제셰자 자자신 강지 소소야다를特别되라 로제상 사두바 사고바 레벨을 tensoseranba, chilsoseranba, chilsoseranba, soseranba, ibashi toba yeza, level the session. Dinaba Mimbala, Tony Dabo Tamba Juvada, Subjenji Samba Chivala, and I don't so trouble me, say, oh, the counsel, do she somebody true or Gawata, true or that, the niggas our time, remember? Oh, never. I don't so trouble me, say, oh, yeah. That you were church dreaming, that you were church dreaming, Tabi church chat by Bichina, and it you were church dreaming. Sanjay Chanju Samba Sanjay, you sit in your uncle, such you will never so Sanjay Namji, and you sit in your uncle in by Zang, and it you were church dreaming, said that anybody.
And then the eighth is the this use grounds immovable. Immovable because free of conceptions, they are unshakable. The range of their physical, verbal, and mental activity is inconceivable. And so through the maturation of this ground, they become Brahma, who rules 1,000 worlds. They are surpassed by the hearers and sort of realizers in determining the meaning of the Dharma, because they have completely abandoned all the delusions, the deluded obstructions at that point. And so there's they outshine all the hearers and sort of realizers at that point. And then is this, and the ninth is like an regency. It's called excellent intelligence, and since by attaining true awareness, these bodhisattvas have excellent understanding on this ground. So through the maturation of this ground, they become a lord of million worlds, and then they are unsurpassed by arhats, and so regarding quantum in the minds of beings. And then the 10th is called, the 10th is the cloud of Dharma, because bodhisattvas rain down the holy Dharma, and these bodhisattvas are anointed with the rays of light by the Buddha. So that's called the cloud of Dharma.
Oh yeah, that's a Dina Bamimbala, Nezan Hai Dabochu. Some is usually that all you chamber cho, say Gana. Nezan Hai Dabochu, say, and Mijo was a Mission was a Minamata. Canona, woman, say Gana, Nezan Hai, and the Hai Dabochu. Some is Sanjay Shin, but Sanjay says, they use the channel on good Dabochu, on the chamber in Bana. Oh, some is usually that on the chamber cho, What is that? I had to such a word to turn to any, Teta Jew and the Danis, or that Jew and the Danis, Shamatabe, and such you put that, and it's how you send such Jews and a dollar, Shabana Shimpani, and a Jabare,
And then so through the maturation of that ground, they become in slasher roots of the pure abode. So talking about the form realm, so there's like 16 regions, 16 regions the form realm gods. So it's a master of inconceivable object of wisdom, supreme among great lords. And so then it's in short, it says these 10 are renowned. In verse 461, these 10 are renowned as the 10 bodhisattva grounds. The bodhisattva ground is different in whole, very immeasurably vast.
Oh yeah, that didn't. They and Jagger Chanju say you and then such you and then they send it. That's how you and then and it told you like them by the and then tell me about. That told you like them by the Sajanam Yesaj and they say, number good to say about Yajitin, told you that them by him by some Sajaji and then want to Shabbat and then about Shankari over this and I got over there. And in there, I make him with the Ambonat. Meona so much with the Ambosata Choma, but Leginam and that told you or 10 of you told you there. Or told you Shabbat, Yajitin, to you that by him by some shit. Oh, that didn't it? The shit of the young, top the and in the bottom about. Drova cushion part of me, Sanjay Tomni, Nedanami, Chimby, Toji, Chimby. To the Redayan and a tire drove cushion to the bottom of the Tambares. Sanjanam Yitamiji, Chanam Kunjin, Nagata, such a Miruchi that was Tedam of Kyabje, Sanjanam Yi and the Tameva, Chonam Yijin, Nagata, or such Teta Tamja Dinin, Javaleta, and a Jabba Miniva. Chonam Kunjin, Nagata, such a Milan Tameva, Chindawa to Jabba, Tenda. Not the Janaya, and it's Java Mini Vatella. Tedam doing the Java West. Oh, yeah.
And so it says it is merely called possessing 10 powers, and each of these powers is limitless and has the countless numbers of beings. And so these are the qualities, excellent qualities of the Bodhisattvas. And next it talks about Nagarjuna talks about the excellent qualities of the Buddha. He says the boundless qualities of Buddha summarizes in 10 powers. So the 10 powers, the powers of knowing source and non-source, power of knowing the ripening of karma, power of knowing the various interests, and a power to know sentient beings in different dispositions, power of knowing sentient beings, and power of knowing the paths that, and so forth. So there are all these 10 powers that are mentioned here. And so it's in the verse 463, it says, limitless of the Buddha's excellent qualities is said to be like the limitless of the space, earth, water, fire, and wind in all directions.
Oh yeah. 다 산재그 연대 참여바인 바데 카드레스나 아니 산재그 연대 대다그 주대라 참여바 가디 주니 대담도 참여니도 마도나 산재 남녀 참여바 대라 이제 민주로 세가나 산재그 연대 대담도 세제 최소 민유와 가르레스나 산재그 주 연대 대다그 주대 대담도 세세 그 차이와 말이스 주참여바니도 마도나 아니 대부 산재지 연대 되라야 아니 참여바마도 채통도 말이스 여기이자 가디준이 대담도 참여니도 마도나 산재 남제 참여바 되라 이제 미주베스 여기이자 참여바 되라 이제 미주베 산재지 연대 주 참여제 타예비 치로스 인자 주 참여바 타예바 이자 대부야 연대라야 참여바 타예바레스
And so these excellent qualities of the Buddhas are limitless, because the cause of those qualities are also limitless. Because the cause is limitless, therefore the result that comes from those limitless causes is also limitless. It says, if the cause are reduced to a mere measure and not seen to be limitless, then one will not be confident that the good qualities of the Buddha are inestimable.
다들이 대지 구수 최대인지 소놈지 아니 가서라 소놈 참여가 소비 수칸들에 해서나 대지 구수 최대인지 장암 산재지 구수만 최대암 된지기 장암 뭐 야나 현도야 그런데 공도 오던 시에 최소 제반 이슈디 니지시야 됐음도 시가나 유소놈 참여바시고와 대체나 안에 산재지 구수당 최대지 장아 아니 소남다 이식 소지신 쳐봤잖아 신쳐봤잖아 아니 산재다 최다 파벽들을 써봐 전도 로데 다 원해서봐 나시 전이 아니 뒤숨도 아니 쳐봐라 써봐 제배 아니 소나 차야봐 써 그래
And so how we create, this limitless the merits, is like mentioned here in verse 465. Therefore, each day 3 times a day, before a statue or stupas or elsewhere, you should perform the recitation of the following 20 verses. So make offerings to the Buddhas, the stupas, and the statues and the stupas, and the Dharma, and the Sangha and so forth. So just like it says, you should perform the recitation of the following 20 verses.
아니 산재 탐주 군딘당 자주 선반 남라야 남군 뒤에 접치네 최 남라 차차로 세가 아니 산재당 아니 담비 최대라 누나 또비 탐전이 이거나 까되네 숨게 lungu 탐제당 아니 산재지 아니 또비 그 또비 최 아니 남바 탐제지 이세당 안다 오비된 바라 써봐 방도기 내니 또비 최당 산재 최당 아니 소소지고 다 파벽군디다 아니 자주 써봐 자주서봐라 요거 다 소지 대다라 아니 고소 나바 꾸네 뒤디 아니 이 타반에 깨서 총대 아니 대다 쳐봐 요반하라 쳐봐 차차봐라 써봐 대라 대제 최남라 차차로 어디에다 디빌레는 도지지 세리가나 아니 디빌레람 베토니 디비자바 디빌레모스 쳐봐 마제 디바 첸데 그 셈미 사바타면 도바 쳐봐 디빌레네 도지지 아니 미그 줘본 그 소름나 써와 아니 산제 쳐봐라 써봐 그 소나무 와서 쏘아 야나 소나무 제비 시수 짐발라 중화다 쓰름라 중화다 고발라 중화 세야게고 소나무 제비 시수 대수고래 소나무 탐제 와서 송 아니 류장구지 소나무다 꾸라 제수 이런 거서 아니 류장구지 소나무다 꾸라 제수 이런 거 랑게 개와 시에 맞주나야 현지 짐바다마다 철무성화다 공바다마 공바라 중화라 소에 개와다 현지 개와 강체와 탐제라 아니 랑게 차도 맞아봐 그냥 아니 제수 이랑 쳐봐대 아니 어때면 그냥 제수 이랑 거 세임바래
And then in verse 466 it says honoring in all ways the Buddhas, Dharma, Sangha, and also the Bodhisattvas. I take refuge in them and pay homage to those worthy of homage. And so here talking about honoring all the Buddhas. And so on all the Buddhas and Dharma. Dharma, there's the scriptural Dharma and the realized Dharma. So, taking or paying homage to all this Dharma, and then Sangha, there are also the ordinary Sanghas and the superior, the Arya Sanghas, and the Bodhisattvas, to all them, and it says take refuge in them and pay homage, to those worthy of paying homage. And then it says in verse 467, I turn away from all negativities and embrace all merits, all the negativities, like non-virtuous actions, not just not creating the non-virtuous, but even not having the intention to create those non-virtuous actions, and then embrace all the merit. So it means like it create all kinds of merits, all the merits of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions, and all the merits of engaging in the practice of generosity, morality, and patience, and so forth. And then it says, I rejoice in the merits amassed by all sentient beings. And so without being jealous about the good things that others perform, and rejoicing in all the good things that oneself and others do.
오야 되게 야라 두바 창자와다 최치샤와다 제수이랑 꾸신서와다 그와 주사다 그 지사와 탐자조의 장주 첨봉 제야 되게 야라 두바데 송거아리 담보사제 탐제 그대다 장주 선반나야 남바 그리 접수네 최 남라 차사로 제대 차사로 야라지 디빌레니 도지제 세가라 샤베야라 랑강 알셰비 아니 디바 탐제라 아니 가서래 두 콘도 소화다에 저지단 침제 소라바자 메제제베 년와라 라도도 도당 아니 연복군도 집에 도당 안점으로 침제 접아 땡지 또 체가라 대대 디비 아니 샤베야라 티체 소나다제 요소 류전군이 소나다 세대 아니 제수이랑 저 제수이랑 배바추 랍제 소디라 게라 제수이랑 초티송 차바랑 거 어제 개와라 논선대와 가와 체계바 전에 장고 정어 집에送完那个 제수이랑 그 대지와 제수이랑 체 찬자와다 최지샤와다 제수이랑 다 네제라 청고고와 고와데라 다네 지대 타자데 최주고로 꼴레탕스요 아니 가서는 지원해서 봐 야랑아 타모자리 차차지 是吧 타모자리 아니 오바 저바 상제네 르보 마상 와테다라 아니 최주 콜로코도 소 제가라 청고고 와서 하게 바티체 가서래 청고고 와고 와자 바티 이제라 아니 너네 봐도 쇼네라 조선나라 소와테베세 아니 양아라 민다와 소와다 바티 최주 콜로코 와다 양아라 민다와 샤바나라 其实主要那一趴都告诉那个，其实主要告诉要记住了，其实那个呢，我的主要其实呢，我特殊的那句说完那些特殊的安尼呗，主要其实呢，我特殊的两个人们的说话打发的钱干了，两个人们的说话打发的钱，第钱，他第一钱了。 第三级别是我的参加我的确信下巴结束一样，全国过两个人们到这个出去签的，但第一届呢，当我让就给我扛起我他们这 어느거와게지 디더 집이 소남다 나기 지다 마지강 괜히 소남 탐제장 라메 창지 셈내 줘 세르다 공도 샤바게 차차와 쳐바보와 샤바 예수이랑 총고고와 양아의 민다비 소와다와라 소게 교환디 쳔비 라신 탐제기 아니 집이 나기 지와다 생기 지와다 오 대니 셈제 탐제장 대 가와 대기 아니 치도 잡아 셈제 탐제 토자라나 양다바 소위 사제요 고만 토바가 줄좀 하시 영아 쇼 양바데라 아니 와 자니 어디 라나면 자주 비쌈나 담바 자주 셈게 받아 나다바 저거 자주 토비 교용어야 제가라 대체는 뭐와 조심 말이야.
And so at this point also it explains about the 7 limb practices, like making processions, making doing the purification and rejoicing, and then making a supplication, to turn the will of Dharma, and then requesting to remain for a long time, and then at the end making the dedication. So just like it says here, honoring in all the ways. The Buddhas, Dharma, Sangha, and also the Bodhisattvas, I take refuge in them and pay homage to those worthy of homage. That shows the paying homage or making prostrations. And then the second one is I turn away from all negativities, and so negativities, that explains the purification. So when we engage in the purification practice, engage with all these 4 opponent powers, like the power of the basis, the power of the remorse, the antidote, and the promise, to not create again, even at the cost of one's life and so forth. So that kind of the purification, and then rejoicing. That's the merit of all sentient beings. All the merits that has oneself and sentient beings are created throughout the 3 times. Rejoicing in that. And then it says, with the bowed head and palm together, I beseech all perfect Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma. And so it says, like, fold with the folded hands, placing in 5 places of the body, like crown, forehead, throat, and so forth, and then to turn the wheel of Dharma, and then remain as long as beings remain. So just like in the Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life, it says that as long as sentient beings remain, as long as space remain, as long as sentient beings remain, may I too remain, and so forth. So in that, so just like that. So as long as the beings remain, so request the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to remain, and then in the verse 469, is through the merit of doing this, doing this, and the merit I have done and will do, may all sentient beings be endowed with the unsurpassed bodhicitta, and then all this, the positive karmas that we have created by engaging in the practice of doing the 7 limb practices. And so you dedicate that, all the previous practice that you did, dedicate that for it to become a cause to achieve enlightenment for all sentient beings.
Oh yeah. Then the little on the Shabaki, pen double Shabaki, you send the Tamapa, Tayapa. Or tell me buggy, and a sonum, tell me about a pen double, and a sonamia, and a Tamapa Chigashaba. Sonum te Tamapa Delaya, and a sonum te Jiji Tamapa. Or Tamapa, and it is Sanjay and then Tamapa, Yichapa, that was saying about it. 아니 semjen tamje chime wa yongzo myokum kindashi choba rawa yobata choba sanda demba sho sayigara semjen tamje 아니 chima meba sena chimeji ambo sena sameji ambo sigore sameji ambo yongso choba 아니 myokum jabo kuilan deshin 아니 샤와 아니 yomo shenji wando maso choba rawa yobata lots of power, and it's so some of the Damasio, show, said Jabarama, Yavata, Chawasanda, Damasho. Oh, yeah.
And so after that, he likes to talk about the immeasurable, the limitless sentient beings, limitless merits, and then limitless causes of those excellent qualities, then of the Buddha, and also the limitless excellent qualities of the Buddha. And says, may all sentient beings, in verse 470, may all sentient beings have immaculate faculties and transcend the unfree states, and may they control their own actions and live by the right livelihood and so forth. So that's again the prayer for dedication.
Oh yeah. That is la Lujatani Tamjana, Lana Rengen Nidenshi, Lujatamja Taya, Kovachi Message, say Gana, Lujani Samjan, Samja Tamja, and around Yamatana, and Rimboji Nidan dancing. Roja Tamja Tayaba, Roja Tayaba, and it you cross Pado, and Missabachi on my show, says Roja Tamja Tayaba, Kovachi Message. Tuve Tamja, tu could do Jejoni to Joasho. Oh, give what the Chua. The gentleman, Rubata, Gamba, and company that never show, say, that and the gentleman, Rubata, say, Dame, Tobe, Chembe, have a share of Jilawaki, Rubata. And it should be Jilawa than them by the Suduji Gamba, the Dambachi on a show, said the team by it. Oh, yeah.
And then in the verse 471, it says, may all embodied beings have jewel in their hands and may a limitless amount of all kinds of necessities remain inexhaustible and for as long as cycle exists and endure. And so this is again praying for sentient beings to have all the things that they need. And then in verse 472, it says, at all times, may all women become supreme persons, and may all beings be endowed with the intelligence and legs. So here is a leg also referring to the leg of wisdom, delights in emptiness, and the morality.
Oh yeah, that is Lujan Kato Damba Tang, say Gana, Samjam, Lujan Tam the Kato Sambota Damba Tang. Susan Siji Chawatang, say Gana, any Yeva Kisu Sambota Dambata. Any Siji Chawata. Tona Midima Batana Tuba, Nemeba. Watana Duji Nemetang. Doji Tetan Damba Show, say Gana, Do Chambota, and it's Serimbuta, Dona Toriji and then Toriji and Didan Nabachi, by your show, said anybody. Oh. Then Tamja Tabla Kaji, Dumaguila Tabata. Guzosumla Showada, Sanja Chuno Chetan Show, Sagana, Lujan Tamja, and the Duma Shiwaka, Shiwa Shevaka, and the Tabla Kavara Cuties, Duma Tab, and the Dumaguila, and the Dumaguila Tarbata. And the Guzosula Japsutrova, G. Jamdrutan, David Jamdros, so David Jamdro, the David Jamdro Sena, Kadesera Cigarettes, and the David Jamdro Sena, and around the top of Jimmy, Kujasumbotella. And Tom de Sambadan Jamdro Japsujabatella, David Jamdro Jimmy, Jammy Sanja Muji, to a church in Gujaji, Sojante, Tadu Cherry Songudua, or in a Lamjaba Tatu with Japsian, what to say. Or do you jump say, and the tender Sanja you command the top of Chiabala? Toji Lam Gongore, Toji Lam Dambambo Sanjatang, Tea them be Chedan, or any head Chedan be Gundinde, any tea Casore. That you jump the Chibi, Casa Shen, what Casa Shen you jump the jump the cigarette. Casa, the Coale so. There you are. Tabla Kaji, Duagula Tabata. Kunjo Sumla Shawata, Sanja Cheno Chetan Shaw, such as you tell you Jamruta, David Jamru, Chebu Gone, and a Kunjo Sumla Jamro Shawata. Sanja Chi Nor, and a Tobchi Damaji on a show, said there, Sanja Cheno Lajan Shaw.
And then in the verse 473, it says, may all beings have a good complexion and also good physique, so good shape of body, and then may they be radiant and pleasant to behold, and always looking very graceful, magnificent, and free of illness, and may they be strong and live long. And then verse 474 says, may they all gain expertise in the skillful means and become free of all the dukkha, all the sufferings. So skillful means to free oneself from all the sufferings. And then may they be devoted to the three jewels and have the great treasure of the Buddha Dharma. And so in talking about the devoted to the three jewels, we're taking refuge in the refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And so when talking about the refuge, there's like the causal refuge and the resultant refuge. The resultant refuge is the state of Buddhahood, the knowledge of the Dhamma that oneself is going to achieve. And so with that, with the wish to achieve oneself, oneself achieve the Buddhahood, and to achieve all those knowledges, you take refuge in the causal refuge. So the causal refuge, is in order to achieve that, one has to meditate on the path. And so the path, is the Dharma, and then the one who explains that path, or the teacher, is the Buddha, and then. The Sangha, who helps. So these are other beings, So other beings, that's the causal refuge, and then the state of enlightenment, the realization, of the path and the cessation that one's going to achieve, is the actual Dharma. So that's the resultant refuge.
Oh yeah, that is a Tamishi Sungwari. Sometimes you just go out town. You move down, never town, say Gana. And the other than the Chamba, do not try to get some gentlemen, there were timber gawa. Some gentlemen, Chadang, Rusu Jabaki, and you moment with Daniel. And you want Daniel never tongues. Did not to them so just some share of Janjay, and it's about to them down, to do down, and something down, and a share of it, and a jamba. Oh, the knee. Son of Namja also did China Beja Savata, some Jim Beja Sajuta, Jimishava Java so, say Gala, and son of the Yishik Sotajabai, also Jodi. Lamji Gauso, and China Beja Sava, say Gala, Sabicha Liba Savata. Yandela saw some Jim Java, and Jimishava Java so, say China Beja Savata, some Jim Beja Sajuta, and Jimmy Chava Drova Shaw, so did some Jimmy Java such with on Jimmy Java Drova Shaw. So what you Shaw said the thing about it.
And then in the verse 475 is may they be adorned with the love, wishing others to be happy, and compassion, wishing others to be free from suffering, joy, being satisfied in others' happiness, and then I believe to remain in economist, so not having partial thought towards others, in the face of a hardship, general, and then may all these be adorned with the practice of the generosity, ethical conduct, fortitude, the patience, the joyous effort, merited stability, and wisdom. Thus adorned, may they complete all the collections and obtaining the brilliant signs and marks, may they traverse without hindrances the 10 grounds to inconceivable. So talking about the 10 grounds that we earlier discussed about.
Oh yeah, that is something to any. Chodu member Dela. Counsel, Dada Yuan Tata, Shangun Jijan Jan, New Good Trova, Samja Guzo Champatang, Siga, and Dada, Shabaki, Ponto Shabaki, and then Tata, and Damatang. That any or Dimasha, and Dora Shabaki, and then Shangun Jijan Jambatang, Shangun Jambatang. And then you are good. Oh, you but a city to Vala Soviet, you are good at Trovata, and it's some jet Tamjala, Chotuch, the water than the Chamba. Some jet good at Chambatan, Chotu Chambatan. Some jet good, Jawai, Gawa Tamja, Georgie, and it thought to the Jan Tamjaji to myself at Chabajo, says some jet Gula, some jet Rang Yila, Yila Dabama Yila River, and it Gawa Tamja, and it rang also saw at Jibatan. And it's all you want to draw Timbuduna, and it had come jet, Tedato, Chetuba, Madame Sunjaba. To you, Dr. Lian Tamjaji, and it was Savaji, you are sure Yambaki, and remember Java. Oh.
And then in verse 477, it says, may I also be adorned with, may I myself be adorned with these good qualities, and all the others as well. So others, all the other qualities that is explained in the sutras. May all those, may I possess all those as well, and may I become free from all the faults, of the deluded obscurations, and then the obscuration to knowledge, of all those faults, and may I attain supreme love for all beings, have not just simple love, but supreme love for all beings. And then it says, may I perfect the virtue to which all beings aspire, and may I always dispel the dukkha of all embodied beings. And so, like thinking, may I be able to, whatever the sentient beings wishes, may I be able to fulfill all their wishes. So even if I cannot fulfill them directly, and at least, may I be able to pray for to be able to fulfill the wishes of sentient beings. So at least pray for that.
Oh yeah, that is Jidan Gune Ju Kang, Sudan Jibe Joa Te Sirikana, Jidan Ji Kamna, and it Jews Kang Suda, and it Kasan Jadan, Dandan, and in Androla Sovaki, and in Jibaket Madi Joa Tetaki, Jidan Gune Ju Kang, Suda Jibe Joa Te. Dagi Mindam Jebe, that she do Jibama Basho, so Tendaway, and it Dandan Androla Sove Jibe Joa Tetaki. 대다게 민점 태외장 아니 대다 아니 콘도시아바게 아니 안돌라 서베 지바 대다라 매바시 와쇼 냐바데라 어 시도 지바 매바쇼 다니 토나 템바다 민점 태외 지우나 라도 추메 나마당 저기 창조 매바당 다다 지우 현지 통화당 아니 라 지우 현지 템바당 랑게 민점 지우 현지 태외장 아니 지우제다 봐 셈랍도 다시 아니 진유몽 추바매봐 아니 셈라시도 내외 남아당 아니 저기 산줄에 칠모도 봐 아니 내가 지금 쇼스
And then in verse 479 it says, in all worlds may all beings who are feeling anxious due to fear because become completely fearless merely by hearing my name. And so there's this fear of the enemies, and fear of the harmful spirits, the ghosts and so forth. And so just by hearing one's name, may they be free from all these kind of fears. And then verse 480 says, from seeing and thinking of me, seeing with eye and thinking of me, or from merely hearing my name, may beings become clear-minded and undisturbed and at ease.
Oh yeah, 체력 근도 제장이 무시하고 타봐줘 보세요. 저번에 체력 근도 아니 가서래 매년 바람. 아니 무시하고 아니 가 미국 무시라 써와 무시하고 타봐다.甚至 그나 뒤에 따도 남아 근도 아니 가로 펜 받는 데와 제바셔 줘.甚至 그나 나온 것도 따도 펜데 제바셔. 지den군의 교우간 디바쳐봐 대주바 지den이 가면 교우간다 아니 가서를 디바쳐봐 디바 매겨봐 대바 주와 대다 안 대다 탐제 내 대다라 내바 매바 따도 아니 디바랑 도바 주와 호랑도를 내바 매바 따도 디비셈데라 도바 주와 대라 대다 탐제 매바 따도 직자 도주 제스르가나 대다라 내바 매바 따도 아니 디바 대다라 가서 직자도 도바당 아 섬제 탐제지 대천바지 용화쇼 양바지다 명바인바리.
And then in verse 481, may it be definite that they all that they will awaken, and in all their future lives may they attain the 5 super knowledges in all ways. May I always do what brings benefit and happiness to all beings. And then verse 482 is, may I always this with all at once all those beings of any world who intend to engage in negativities without doing them any harms.
Oh yeah, that sometimes you turn jama me that the trick the pay up all. Sada chuda mena go be shin. Dani sometimes tamje ranga 다도 랑가 잡아서 랑가 감에 잡아서 세도 돼. 다니 사당 추당 매당도 매당 권비 신신도 다 섬정게 제제대라 사추 매룽 매 신라서 말아와. 我대섬정게 제제 자주 매루대다 섬정게 제제 연바 대신도 나야 안에 섬정 탐제지 랑가를 제제 용하지 감에 잡아야 용하쇼 저랑와 와 Semje Tamje, Rama Hindu, Ranga Shenji, Gato Meba, Jabba Jajachua, Semje, or the Yansi, Kasu Yama Shaw, then it did Jera, Semje Namla Soshing Pans. Dala Teta Cheban Shaw, Semje Namla, and a rank Sola Japa Cheba. Dale Teta Chebas, Rale Jang. 아니 섬전 대사 봐봐 섬전 대사를 채파와 섬전은 나그 그 신이 전에 나그 소래 자 판바탕 나라야 섬전 대사 채파와 시용하쇼我的第一个开始是呢大先节我这边记下过的让见证当先真正你让节我怎么的怕断的先节我怎么我这能就有送给我让节我怎么的古巴他们就过先介绍怎么的，人家他们就洗一张，我什么讲那么做件把打了在家，打件在了前面少，哦，因为天了，打了太大地面些，大概嘛嘞地面少，我什么讲太大的都把他们家，都把他东啊他们家，让个基督这边把西洋少，大概给我当旅当龙就旅当旅龙就。给我了，说话给他看着才他们家，给我他们家，俺那第一点我的什么叫他们家了，怕明白情况小是，打了太大点没些，大概嘛的挺没小，真的，我第一次你我叫我现在有我的，他妈论证钱那钱，俺那他们就第三个当钱了，很多现在有的，俺讲我这不行的，给这工作苏建那一个了，你别叫的吃的嘛赚钱，俺们嘛了占那双啊。是吧？我那时候我第一次的上了当前，实在就在没那个没劲了。当年身边他们大多让个结巴小子，俺那身边那个索性把大将在他前面去，打了在他前面去，大概嘛来对面就是，我打了在他大概没来的，我第一次的告诉嘛，都是点头呢。俺那在那点了上了当年路把就是去的，也不现在有个呀。
And so this verse 483 is very good for wishing to benefit others. So it says, like the earth, water, wind, and fire, medicinal herbs, and the trees in the wilderness, may I always freely be an object of enjoyment by all beings as they wish. So we, praying oneself to be like that for sentient beings to enjoy. So these are the things that is necessary for sentient beings to live, right? The earth, the water, the wind, fire, and medicine, all these things are very necessary for sentient beings. So, praying oneself to become like that, to benefit sentient beings. And then in verse 484, it says, may I be loved of beings, and may they be more beloved to me than myself. May I bear the result of their negativities, and may they have the result of my virtue. So this also explains about the practice of tonglen, taking and giving, and taking the cherishing others more than oneself. And so it's just like it is said that cherishing oneself is the doorway to all the torments, and cherishing others is the foundation of all good qualities. So so these two verses are very very powerful. If you can memorize them and just recite them and then contemplate on the meaning of this, it will be very useful. And also His Holiness, when he gave teaching in Depung, he asked to print these two verses and then distribute to people, so that they can memorize and contemplate on the meaning of these two verses.
Oh yeah, that didn't. And then she turned and the best sit on Sibi, Koma Taipado, and a city pado, and Shandi Chabatera, Membatera, Tanguatera. She sees some young Gashi. Kando Madro Tesido. Tezilana Meba, Chanjo Toja, Nemaji, Emisha, some gen Kashi Jang, Kando Madro Vades, some gen Ji Koala, Luna Yamba, some gen Sembatani, some gen Ji, and you Kuinado, Luna Yang, Tesido, Raya, Lana Bayata was over Saya Yukoba, talk to be Luna Matoba. Teach something teach to until Lanambayanta, but over Sunday, Koma Toby Chidu, and it ran, and it called never so good. She sees some young Gashuja, Kando Madro TC2, say, 대지라나 매바에 창조 토자 내주지 저서 창조라나 뭐야다 봐 저거 사게 거봐 톱 쳐줘 이나야 샘진 뒤 되더라나 뭐 창조 오도 맞아봐 뒤 텐도 아니 거라 내와 내가 어디서 뭐래 남의 창조자 스번내와 조시 어디야.
And then in verse 485, it says, as long as there is even one sentient being somewhere who is not yet free, may I remain in the world for that being's sake, even if I have attained peerless awakening. So he's saying like, not giving up even one sentient being. Even if one sentient being is not free, everybody is free, but one sentient being is there, and and even if one is very ready, to be enlightened, so saying that one don't want to be enlightened, yet instead, remain in the cycle existence to benefit that sentient being.
Oh yeah, that's enough. Then I'm going to share about the Anita. 다시anyam 조금에나 소와 혼도 셰바 그 소놈 대다기 아니 소놈들 채매봐 소놈 그 채순도 매봐 지게 제비 소놈들 가대 테니 수전 줄 관계 전반이 제지 기량 감사 소문줄 혼도 셰바기 아니 소놈 대다라 아니 다야게 혼도 셰바 소놈 야라 뒤요와 차차와다 쳐바다 제수 이랑 와서 샤바다 아니 뭐마다 뭐람라 소와 제바게 소나 강인바 대다 아니 수요와 대지이나 강글루게 제만이 지대이 감소야 아니 쇼금 말이 쇼와 메주바 쇼와 메주에甚至 채매바 유도체비 소남지 초 채매배 아니 소남지 초 채매바이다 아니 대부 상제지 된다라야 채매바지 아니 이셔와 추고래 지게 제비 소남다 가대 되니 수제나 강글루게 전이지 지대 감소 좀 메주 야
And then in verse 486, it says, if the medicine of making such statements, so all these practices of equalizing and exchanging self with others, as mentioned earlier, and also all the other practices of the seven limbs, like making prostration, making offerings, purifying all the negativities, rejoicing in the virtue, and so forth. All these, medicine of all these practices, were to have a form, or physical, a visible form, then it would not fit into words. Then the world will be too small to fit it, and the numerous as the grains of sand of the Ganges. And so just like these matters, these causes of the medicine are limitless. Therefore, one should believe that the qualities of the Buddha is also limitless.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm telling about the any career is and any long down ribani gonna do to good. So, Nariba, can you jump then? There's so long to but check. Tenzin Dilana, Jidan come to Tamela, Padutan Tetra, Ribag to Battery. So, the Lua got to somebody else and anything with the Java, Toy Nagaso, or any subject to the Pantaba, Personum Pepper to me by young gadget, Lunga soon, Lunga by his own, and they take it long to check. A Tenzin Dilana, say Gala, and this subject come Tama by his own, and it Pendu Sambaya, and it's Tama by yours. They is on, and it causes Pendu Sabato with a son and a pattern about 2 quarters. That tends to say, Gala, detain by it. Then did I did not say, oh, dear, pad of the son of the chair. That day, they enjoyed that budget since her. That day I shall touch him by the lot. And it done. Or draw a jab at a church ambassador. Teta Dagi Chelani, do this Cheshire kind days. That Yahoo is somewhat a Tamara, Luduk. Teta Dagi, Yahoo is somewhat Chella, and it's been door duty, and it's somewhat a Jashi with love Yamson to do dinner Cheshire kind by days. Chula Chita Tatu, Pamba Shinto Pamba Jay, and it's Chelang Kakasa. In Percasa, Chelang, and if Chita Damba Nation, Java Nation, and it names in Yamichu, so Chula Chita Tatu and a Pamba Shinto Pamba, so that comes to Shabbat, Yalim, Lusso, Pamba, Lusso, Pamba Mevanashi, and it's Jagore, Chita Tatu, or no, Guso Pamba Shinto Pamba Jagore. Gala Chede Panjuba, Tela Tendu, Dalu Pang. Pang like Pamba Chago, and Teni Chiji Chaba Jusi. Kandi Chede Pamba Juba, Majo, Chavada Majuba, Pamba Juba Tela. Gui Tendu, Dagu, Lian Pamba Ni, Indi. Chemi Bana, Liu Pamba Chava, Dojo Jambe Chiro. Oh, give a humour, and it knew the Tomne, Tanjogi Descent the Tomne, and it cheered him by the Jumne, and by Asaba, so Sanjay to come to go. No, you don't. Liu Pamba, Churja Pamba, Chijuku Pamba in a Tella, Pepe Tendu, Tendu, the Reshiva Chagona, and the Tenda Mini Bitches. That did it. Oh, yeah.
And so, so how this the limitless, the merits limitless, and is also can be proved both logically and scripturally. So in verse 487, like it says, this is what the Blessed One said. So that proves scripturally. And so in the King of Concentration Sutra, Buddha mentioned about the limitless merits and limitless benefits and so forth. So that's proven through the scripturally, and then logically here it says, and the reason is here to be seen, the world of beings are immeasurable, and the intention to aid them is likewise, because there's immeasurable sentient beings, like in countless sentient beings. So when you think about every sentient beings, the thing about benefiting every sentient beings, so that thought of benefiting the sentient being also becomes limitless, immeasurable. And so that's how it is proven there. And then, so that with that, it kind of completes all the teachings. And now it says the closing words words of advice. And then it's in verse 488. It says, thus conclude my brief explanation of the Dharma to you. So this is referring to the king. So to King Jetsun, to whom he offered this advice. And so he says, Dharma to you, King Jetsun. Always consider this Dharma to be beloved to you, just as you are beloved to yourself. So always treasure this teaching, just like you will treasure yourself, your body and your soul. Just like you treasure your body and soul, you also should treasure these teachings and put it into practice as much as possible.
Oh yeah, that's what you about that. Kerechuni, Dashin, the Chishin to you, Drubatang. Drubashin to Shero down, Shero to Kuwait Dan, Sega, Ludan Che, Pamba Tumba Tevena, and it Che, and the Rango Lisuma to do, Chini Dashin to get us with Tambata. Chis into Drubalaya, and Teon, and the castle, Sushin to Drubala, Raba, Chis Sushin to Drubatang. Che Sushin to Drubatean, and the Sherabana, and it's Castle Sushin to Druba Miruba in Bed, Sherab lying by in bed, and it's Sushin to Drubate, Sherab Jessin, and a Kua Rubatan. Sherab Jabatean, and a Gavishin Rala by Yizam, and a Castle Sherab Kua Shindu, and a Gavishin and a Kuwait Templepona, and a Church Lapore.
And then it says, verse 489, so those who consider the Dharma to be beloved are truly holding themselves as beloved. For if one wants to benefit those whom one loves, one can do so by means of the Dharma.
Oh yeah, that's all you come along there, but Pongla Pong Pemba Member. And you can't sit down and told you about any round the chicken, say, Gana. Or this word, that you can also say, senior trapping what this said it. Or Nejiki, or Ember, or this said it. I Loma Kashi, and somebody down number song, Topa Jen, and Tapa Chuba Tella, and it gave each develop number Chuba in bed. Round the chicken, Sumber, and it gave senior Chuba Temple. That senior dame, senior Tani Della. Gavishini Teda Tani to the Chamba, and the Shoga Sheva, Inja the Damba, Sudum the Damba. And you must have a share of them, set of Jan, down around the Namjinashi Chani, Kanda and Dora Sheva, the Damba, and then Judah, Maliji, to change it, teacher Gavisha, so I David Chani, or so on Nasilama Chavala, so on Nashi or the Ani Dolejana Subaku, Chula Damba. Senior to a Shiva, Yeshiva, and then about Janja Luigi, Tenira to la Maga, the Sevitan, to upon a dance, Senior Anita, Church and the Senior Danko, what is Sungan Body. 대답이네 최대한 최지 참박 그와 저 된다비 아니 최주단데 신인이 아니 때나 아니 최지 천지 그와 저 세가나 되다 초와시와다 이거 믿어봐다 인지 시와다 최주는 담바다 로마근이 뭐시비 셔럽게 오 텐데지게 아니 징예데 텐데지게 켜먹지 제 텐데지 바데 아니 시비권에 대한 거래 그거 저거래 세지바다.
And so, so it says, therefore, the devoted to the Dharma, just as you are devoted to yourself, be devoted to correct practice, just as you are devoted to Dharma. Be devoted to wisdom, just as you are devoted to correct practice. Be devoted to the wise, just as you are devoted to wisdom. So that's in verse 490, and then so in the verse 491 talks about relying on a spiritual mentor. So the one who due to his own failing has doubts about a pure, loving, and intelligent teacher who speaks with restraint and about what is helpful, ruins his chances of attaining his aims, thinking I am under the care of one who is pure, loving, and wise, and who stays with the restraint what is helpful, and a vow to spiritually discipline yourself, the king. And so here also talking about the qualities of the teacher that one should rely on. And so it says, know in brief the qualification of the spiritual friend you should receive teachings from those who are content, compassionate, and ethical, and possess the wisdom that dispels negative mental states. And having understood what they teach, you should respectfully put into practice through this excellent system, and you will attain the supreme achievements. And also think about other texts like the Guru Puja. Also mention about this the 10 qualities of the Guru, like Guru being pacified, peaceful, and having compassion and so forth, and always never being discouraged to teach and so forth, and to benefit others and so forth. So that kind of qualities you should think about also.
Oh yeah, Luni Pisu Sawadi, Tubayani Chodu Ju, so one and Chabajawe, as I did you come up top of Tulu Dini, Tulu Pisu Sawadi, and to Sanjay come up top of Tugure, then on some jam jam machine, Dambada, Sanjana, and Jambe Mawata. The ring on Zunya Gawa, to the Chetu, to the Damba Chetu Misubada. Around Lebar Mawata, so that's some jam Jambra Mawata, the ring on Zoom Nation. Sonamji Gurchivi, Sip Mawata. And here Gawa teaches Sawa Chabata. And Turum Dambala, and a bad shirt Damba. And he cat Misaba, so I get the Goneta, or the Imbala, Tuba Imbala, Leberma Gores. Lidu Padanya don't Jiba Dash, some Shiva, Goba Major Tamiri, you may Padanga, say Ganata, on the Shababi. Consume Bata. And it don't want that Bata. Listen to Bata Damba, some Shiwata. And it go by you let your work, and go by tell you that your work, go by Meji. And it Palm Bata, Tom Mirumala, Chawana Soa, Yellow Mabata. What that Tenigi or Children Guardian to that Meva Check and a good check to Gure, so I did. The one Yashin Yavata. Only nation sedan that Jasushin to power that eruption to Damba Shayaka, the one nation that she do two things, Zangla, Yavata. Then Nima, Jibata, Nima, and Jibata Dabana, Jabatabata. Jasushin to Shanji Lum, Jazupala, Murubanashin, Jasushin to Shanji Lum, Meduchi, Tuji Tin Sawata. A eruption to Yanashan, Minjuba, and that Lom Minjuba, Tabata, said that anybody.
And so in the verse 494, it says, speak the truth and speak gently to beings, be pleasant and accessible, and skilled in public policy. Do not wish to humiliate others, be independent, and always speak well. So these are all talking about the best situation of the Guru. And made you well subdued, be generous, dignified, and mentally peaceful. Do not procrastinate, and do not rush. Do not be dishonest, and be courteous. So all about these qualities. And it says, and then once you have that, then it will be like the full moon calming, calming, disciplined, and beautiful, and be magnificent and joyful like the autumn sun, and rich with the secret of harvest, be profound like the oceans, by sharing teachings and advice that are deep, and be as stable and as the Mount Meru. As is not happy one day and unhappy the next day, like that.
Oh yeah, that is that door dinner in the car, you are good and number and then good you can do it. Some good you get so down. And time the timber need to say, Chasojin, you are good at number drawer. Tabala so and then good you can buy Juba. Some good you pentatala Juba and then yes, the town. And then Lanam by Anzamba over Sunday time the timber need to Juba, say Canada, Gavura Timbari.
And so in short, says, this is the kind of the teacher, in short, like so 497, it's free from all the negativities and all the bad actions, and adorned with all the good qualities, such as faith and so forth, and be the sustenance of all beings and become omniscient.
Oh yeah, that didn't Chudi Damsa Sula Tambare, Sana, Mus, Jawu, Sambola Tambare Mato, Gune, and around the and do the Tamjala Tamba. Oh, Chudi Jawu Bashila Tamba Kona Machachi, or Chudi rejection one day, Luduki, and or the Sambola Tamba Kona Machachi. Some Jala Jerry, but Pemba Deba Tambala, so that you could do Janana, and a Pembishi, and a Pemba Deba Tamba, Inji, or in down, or you could do Janamji, and it should in Yamsul Balatova, Mobatova, never level, pushing the Drubala, and it drew a chapore, they said. Then he, Jela, and he, Dinyam Yamsul go down there. Dada Shana Yanda, but Soviet Sanja Duce, Jawadam to Giovanni, Duration to somebody, Sericana, and a Dada Shana, Lanambayanda, but Soviet Sanja, you come at Gibi Lado, and a butching it. If the gentleman was a thumb to Chava, there's some Jerry, being Yamsulandi, and a did somebody, and somebody, so I did
And then in verse 499, it talks about the teaching given to whom. So explicitly it was given to the king, the Jetsun, but also implicitly to all beings, who wish to put the teachings into practice. And so as a king, it would be good for you to contemplate this discourse every day, so that you and other beings, will attain true complete awakening.
Oh yeah. That didn't you know about that? To Lama Chok, Sudan Tishi Chadome. Senator Reva China, Shantin Agenda, Pumba to the Panji Cheta, Chomi Yonsu Tarwata, Tamji Yonsu Chanji Chiden, Yawanam Jeta to Chas, and a Tambichi, Kuya, Tendinivan, Tatu, and a Chagores, Kangachi the Chagores, and Nanamayanda to the Sanjay, Komatovic the Chagores. Yes, our country was, and I didn't tell you to them said, go on doing to them, go on doing that one she to do so much. Lamjitawa, Lamala, and a child of Kuata. Give a senior. I need Yam Yamsula Sabata Tambata. This is the change Pinzola, Chato Mabata, and a Casa, Jumatonwala, Jibatonwala, Senator Chavata. Toba Meva Chene, Leda any Tibetan, Namila Rava Meva Changi Tenzin agenda. Sergeji Pomba Chuanala, and a Sergeji Pamba Chavata. Casacho Lobenda Lama Mayan, Casacho Lobenda Lama Mayan, Tedala, Cho Tedala, Yosu Chumata, Cho Mimiba Teda, Midovata. Some in Tarvata. Yana Cho Shaba Chao. Dona Javanam Jetabicha Maliba, Yosu Suma, Lesser Pachao, Rebuji Tumana, Chajis Bishop is with the war.
And then they take this advice to the heart. So that's what it's about. So in the verse 500, it says, "Be ethical and have the highest respect for spiritual mentors. Be patient. So be patient, to practice Dharma. Devoid of jealousy and others. others' perfections, good qualities, and great enjoy the wealth of aiding others without expectations of return, and be helpful to those who are derived. And be devoted to the Supreme, avoid those who are not, and embrace the Dharma for the sake of awakening. This is what those who seek it should be always do.
Oh yeah, that joke is telling that you can't get up at did you can't do us, said that. And Jawola Tam, which is too much about the village, I know village is Abacha. Oh, then it does, Robotin Abatu. I know the very can't be doing any. Jagaji Kambutana Kamba, the prejudice about Colonel and she tell Papa Watch, that they do see as well.
So the conclusion, a text who taught this. This is taught by Nagarjuna, and the great Arya Nagarjuna, and was translated by the abbot from India, so it's Jana Garba, and the translator, Gelong Louis Jetsun.
Oh yeah, that day, and she did the cause of which is true. That she won't do some she chamache. I shall watch it actually 2 months one day. And it did Lord Chair. And it gathered much is Tadrita the Manyam, the Lord Chair, and it conversation, and it is sour by the chair. And it catches it, and it you know, and it castle. Nabeche, Tembashi, and it somewhat on my Lamjito, Namsum, Didilla, Lojon, I catch him was your chili. Can't see Lojon Chesana, I try to talk over. Lojon Majena, Mashio Corana Dore, and said the Lashera Majena in a young, Joa Chimadilla, Yabuchi Chevere. Only Joa Chimadilla, Yabuchi Curry, he did a charge on it. That is such a session. Because such a session, said the Kawam, said the Kawam, give a chance to Joy, no Larani land on such a penny soon. Kaisera, said the Lobsang Chenny, Yabuchi, Masha, in a young. And it gave a share, give a Chimadilla, and it had a Chitoa, Pasha de Shani, give a Chimadilla, Dilla Yazon Grace. Tipela Carre Sana, said the Kawama, George, no Kawama, no Larani Landa Sung, Rangi Jalaji, Mizan Jala Nega Chambochina, and Jala Langa de Ranshambachila Drogo is the Gala Mizan, the Lato Shot of Gala Milla Pie Joe. Joe did the Gala, never the Rala Pichetai, but so good, Jala de Longa. O tenasi no Larani Landa Chung, said Ote, Joa Chimatella, Taritason Chavi Deute, Joa Chima de Dilla Tata John Grace, and Sondua. Ribana Bachian was a Jangai, the Sigo de Marache, Ribana Bachian, Sunny Chili and I love what you race. Love what you race. Look and go in the Sheda Shigma, the Machine, said the Kawa Majujan. 叫我先去做我人生，我来让你来打算。你叫我起码得了，他那日把牙子去当，俺妈个把家里再一个了也不用过来，我来让你来打算说。我的是帮把给俺让都快把干把做了，对不对？但你讲我这么去也得，俺那搞着我没用过这了，干说光来拍线，俺那没用过这个的。 I knew about Chile, about it, Pepper, I knew about Chile, but the Gaso can get Lesha. Or Consola can go to say, Cheran to Lobsang you what it does. Lobsang you what it. Look at in Santa Maridas, or the Luda Tane, Ribana Bachiano, and they said the Kawamaji, Jawashan to Joy, Nola Rani Landa Sungs and Story. Lobsang, you can get two of the Canasa. Then you don't have Cheran to the Gucci, 최소 주소라요. 대지 자용에 대면에 체란도 나로 생각 주소라 봐 대지 깨졌지. 아니 이게 lon간데나 이게 잡고. 어 대전에 롭조치에 개심물에. 롭조치에니 많이 참고지 대화당 전다시리 많이 전다 마시와 많이 참고 만보 주잖아. 아니 편의도 요아래 편의 자체뭐 요 말이. 장우를 간나서 tanda 마셔나 많이 아니 배 주고 사서 타네 편에도 여와래 딜리지래 아니 만 tanda 시위가나 많이 창고지나 파이 쳐보 쇼지로 와서 까나서 또 담 안지 삼로야 뭐 선라야체 뒤에 줄이 배기 tanda 시와체 깨져서 티 신간들아 파스 돌리자체 아니 대자도 장울이 뭐지 다시 근디다 진짜 요와 진짜 마고 어 된대잖아 아니 편기로 와 좋아 야 타고도 롬지 주세
And so, with that, we have completed the discussion or teaching on this text, Precious Garland by Nagarjuna. So, didn't get and have enough time to go through all the detailed explanation, but we completed with briefly. And so, anyway. It is, the most important thing is to study, continue to study all the time, study about everything about Buddhism, and especially about the profound view and the three principal aspects of the path, all this, so one should study as much as one can. If one studies, then one can become better and better. Slowly, one can become better and better. If one doesn't study, then one doesn't know at all. But if one study, even if one doesn't become expert or wise or expert right away, but slowly one can become. And even if one doesn't become expert in this life, even if one doesn't learn much in this life and become expert in this life, but one can become expert, and learn it in the future lives. And so, just like there's a quotation, from Sajja Pandita, where he says that, even if you are going to, die, in today or next day, and next moment, you should still study. So if you study, it will be beneficial. And even if you are old, because you live, when you study, you leave imprint in your mind, in your consciousness now, and the next life, when that imprint is activated, and you be able to learn better and become more learned in that lifetime. So you leave the imprint. And so it's just like it says that if you have a possession, some kind of possession, and you just leave it at somebody, leave it with somebody. So right now you don't have it, it's with somebody else. But whenever you need it, you can just get it from that person and then use it. It's just like that. And so also he said that even if you're old, and think that, oh, I'm not smart anymore, and I cannot study and so forth. Don't think like that. You should still keep on studying. And so that's what, like His Holiness, one time when he was giving teaching in Mongot in India, he went to the old folks' home, and then he gave advice to the old folks, saying that they should always study. So if you study and you understand, then it's much more beneficial to do the practice, like reciting Om Mani Padme Hum. Even if you recite so many malas of Om Mani Padme Hum, but without understanding meaning, of course there's a benefit, but there's no much benefit. So if you understand the meaning, and if you do even one mala of Om Mani Padme Hum, then the benefit is so much more. So by knowing the benefit, if you do the practice, then it becomes much more beneficial, much more powerful. And so, so just like His Holiness requested those old folks to study, I also request you to study as much as you can. And so come to the center, whenever you can, to study. If you cannot come, then go to discuss, with those who knows about the teachings. So in whatever way you can learn, try to learn as much as possible.
Oh yeah, that's not one much. 아니 자가가 도와주는 바람은 배우가 도와줘 원래 남자가 뭐지 전화 제자와 제자와 상계에서 선bat점자를 저자로 니와 군나는 저에 보여줘 삼전 구전이 저거 탐제전라 자자자 원단디 자체마체 안다도 원단이 좋으셔서 나그리 진예사에
저와데 된도로 공라 감변도 개버라지죠 로산도 덴베님 보르엔도 사지
이제다
5 deities victorious in freedom's long battle, for eons equal in number